Hi, I want to show you the specifics of completing your parkour video successfully, your animation. It's a frame-by-frame animation, and I've set it up so far with a background, and so I drew all of these shapes in the background, and I am now going to lock the background because I don't want to accidentally draw in that background. I will now click this button to make a new layer, and I'm going to name that Dude. And now I'm going to draw a stick figure dude. Now, it's kind of important that you do not make this stick figure guy in object drawing. So turn that off. It'll be easier to manipulate pixels for him. And actually, I'm going to start with an oval for his head. And I don't want him to have an inside, so I do that. And I don't want him to be yellow. I think I'm going to make him black. Okay, so, and I think he'll start down here. So there's my oval, this little guy. I think you could also use the paintbrush tool if you wanted to. I'm not sure which is better. I had a student once that just did the paintbrush tool. That's kind of a lame arm, but I'm going to leave it because for me right now, this is more about the process for you. So here's the first guy, and you can see that I only have one frame, so I just drew him in the first frame. I also want to see where I have drawn him, so I'm going to turn on onion skinning. And you can see up here, it makes a difference on the timeline, just so you can tell you're in onion skinning. Now my next frame, I'll be changing his position, so I don't want a repeat of him. So when I make a new keyframe, I want it to be blank. And the key for that is F7. So I hit F7. You can see that I have a new blank keyframe on my dude layer, and my background layer has kindly expanded himself so I still see all my platforms. And now it looks like the dude turned gray. Well, he's not really gray, he's not there, and that's his onion skin. So I will draw him again to show his next movement. And maybe this leg goes out further, and maybe this arm is reaching out more. I think I have a snapping on because it's not allowing me to go in all directions. And perhaps that's one reason why my former student did paint. But that might be my next frame. And I think what I'm going to do now is I will switch to the paintbrush in my next frame. But anyway, to get another new blank frame for his next position, I hit F7 again. And now I can see my first two frames of him being gray. I'm going to switch to my paintbrush tool. I think the stroke's good because it remembered it from the last time. I'll just do yeah, that's okay. I'll undo that. Have a look at what one looks like. Gotta switch back. Oh, actually I don't get a stroke. It's the paintbrush size, and I was currently in that. I want to see what the smallest size looks like. Okay, so I think I am going to go with the smallest size. Another thing down here, that's the brush shape. I'm going to stick with the round brush shape. And so now I'm going to draw his head instead. You will see that this is not a good decision for me to start in one tool and switch to another after 2 frames in. You will also see that the paintbrush is making itself thicker. And I'm not sure how to change that right now, so I'm just going to keep with this lesson. So here's my third frame, and I'm going to hit F7 again, do another one to show his movement, F7 again. Okay, now he's about to jump. I'm going to have him land on that yellow one. F7. Hopefully you also know that the smaller increments of change you make from frame to frame, the more smooth your animation will be. Okay, so now let's say he made it up here. And maybe I want a frame where he almost falls. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to have him leaning back like, I almost fell. Make another frame. Make him kind of getting his balance again. One more frame and have him upright again. Okay, so far I've done 11 frames. How do I know that? I can see it up here on the timeline. I want to show you 3 ways you can test. One way is to click back in here, click back into frame 1, number 1, and click the play button. So I can click the play button and see it, and you see it at its actual speed, which seems fast because it's 24 frames per second. So since I've only done 10 frames, my animation right now is only half a second. Another way to see it and control the speed a little more in terms of what you're viewing is to scrub up here, and you put your mouse where the numbers are, not where the frames are, and you just have your mouse button down and you scrub back and forth. Another way, if you just want to go frame to frame with the keyboard, is you use the period key. And it's showing me all the onion skins. If you want to see it without the onion skins, you just turn off the onion skin, and you can use the comma to go back and the period to go forward, and it's letting you see your progress so far. The final way, which is what you'll be making when you're done, is to produce the movie, and the easiest way to do that is Control-Enter. And that just loops through the movie in its Swift file. I'll show you how to turn looping off in a different moment because we probably wouldn't want this to loop. But so far, that's my first 10 frames of my parkour movie. So I'll just keep going and flip them all around. So you just draw it frame by frame. I will hit F7 again, turn on onion skin again, and I think his next jump would be up here. Okay, so I'll just keep going in that manner and then have a fun parkour thing. Hope it goes well for you. Excited to see your results.